Welcome to the Conventional Wall Bracing Plan Check course. Whether you are a plan reviewer, building official, permit technician, third-party reviewer, or a design professional transitioning into plan review responsibilities, this course was built for you. The Wall Bracing Plan Check course is the fourth module in a 4-module series that also includes the Conventional Roof Framing Plan Check module, the Wall and Foundation Framing Plan Check module, and the Conventional Floor and Deck Framing Plan Check module. This training series is intended to deliver a top-notch learning experience that is centered on the structural plan review of wood-framed residential structures according to the adopted state residential codes that are based on the International Residential Code. Nearly all states in the United States have adopted the International Residential Code developed by the International Code Council. This module, along with the other modules in this series, may be used to provide continuing education units that are required by the International Code Council as well as various professional organizations and government agencies. The development of this course was guided by the assumption that the primary reason you are considering taking this course is to acquire the ability to perform a thorough and reliable structural plan review of residential wall bracing systems and verify that the submitted drawings comply with the provisions of the International Residential Code. We have also considered that you may not have any training as a civil or structural engineer. Therefore, we have spared no effort to ensure that this course has the capacity to help you achieve the objectives that brought you here. The good news is that while the plan review process may appear overwhelming at first due to the number of code provisions involved, a disciplined and structured methodology can transform the process into a manageable and repeatable professional task. The plan review process for braced walls begins after the reviewer has determined the wind and seismic design criteria that should apply to the project at hand. The structural design consists of the development of a system of structural elements to resist gravity loads such as dead loads, live loads, and snow loads, as well as lateral loads including wind loads and seismic loads. Wall bracing is specifically installed to provide support against lateral loads such as wind loads and seismic loads, and therefore belongs to a system of structural elements known as the lateral force resisting system. This course will not just look at wall bracing in isolation. Rather, we will look at the entire lateral load resisting system and see how everything comes together to form a robust structural framework that conforms to the adopted building codes. We will start by breaking down the intricacies of wind and seismic loading as it is envisaged in the residential code. At this introductory stage, we will guide you through a comprehensive lesson on the fundamental parameters that underpin the wind and seismic design criteria. This will ensure that you will gain a thorough understanding of their development and application in design practice. This comprehensive introduction will open the way that allows us to dive into the heart of wall bracing. We will embark on a thorough and extremely rigorous exploration on the code provisions for the design and construction of different wall bracing methods, where we will focus on the most common bracing methods before exploring the limitations for mixing bracing methods on a project. We will look at the properties of braced wall lines and the code provisions governing their placement on a floor plan. Additionally, we will look at the placement of wall bracing along a braced wall line, including all the constraints that govern the location, spacing, and distribution of wall bracing. This will bring us to the load path section, where you will learn how all the critical elements come together to form a continuous system that has sufficient capacity to transfer lateral loads from the roof to the foundations. Additionally, we will cover all the requirements for the foundation supporting braced walls. After looking at the review of code-compliant structures, the final section will be on irregular structures. We will undertake an in-depth and highly detailed examination of the code provisions defining structural conditions that are classified as irregular structures. These are architectural and sometimes structural elements that create conditions that are not envisaged or anticipated by the prescriptive code provisions. We will show you how to identify these conditions when doing plan reviews to ensure that projects intended to conform to the conventional construction provisions do not exceed the limits of the residential code. This course is intended to provide you with a comprehensive exposure to the knowledge, insight, and systematic review skills necessary to perform structural code compliance reviews with confidence, consistency, and professional clarity. In professional practice, The plan reviewer is routinely confronted with an enormous variability in style, layout, and design integrity when reviewing plans prepared by different designers. This variability introduces uncertainty and demands a disciplined approach that does not rely on assumptions or familiarity with individual drafting styles. A successful plan review process must therefore be based on a methodology that distills the essential structural elements from any project and systematically maps those elements onto the requirements of the code to verify compliance. When any portion of the design does not meet the requirements of the code, the plan reviewer must be prepared not only to identify the deficiency but also to communicate that deficiency in a clear and enforceable manner. The necessity for a plan reviewer to have a solid grasp of both the material provisions and the intent of the code cannot be overstated. Equally important is the development of a structured strategy that allows the reviewer to unpack a project into distinct components that can be evaluated independently and then reviewed contextually as part of an integrated structural system. This course goes a step further by demonstrating how to prepare effective plan review comments, which represent one of the most valuable and often overlooked skills in the plan review process. Writing effective comments is not simply a clerical task, it is a professional responsibility that directly influences the clarity, efficiency, and success of the review cycle. Plan review comments must be unambiguous and concise while still providing sufficient information to allow the designer to understand the basis and intent of the comment. Comments that lack clarity or precision are often misunderstood, leading to delays, repeated submittals, and unnecessary frustration for both the reviewer and the designer. For this reason, the methodology presented in this course treats comment writing as an integral component of the plan review process rather than an administrative afterthought. Each identified deficiency is paired with carefully structured commentary that reflects both the technical requirement of the code and the professional responsibility of the reviewer to communicate expectations clearly. Whether you are seeking to strengthen your professional review skills, improve the consistency and clarity of your plan reviews, or develop a disciplined methodology for evaluating structural drawings, this course provides the knowledge and tools necessary to help you succeed. Your journey to mastering wall bracing plan review begins here. Join us at www.praxispca.com.